Hello, this is the guide to the acceptance form for successful groups who have been allocated funds under the Community Climate Action Programme 2024. So the link will be provided to you in the notification that was sent regarding your application being successful. So when you go into that link, it'll bring you to the first question here, which is straightforward in that it's the group name and the address. It'll ask you then for the air code of the premises. This is for location mapping purposes only. If the premises doesn't have an air code, you can enter the air code of the nearest building. It's just to give us an idea of where it actually is. So you can select the air code. Now it'll ask you for the name of the primary contact person within your group. So this is going to be the person who's going to manage the project from start to finish, the primary contact person. So the name of the person there, and his or her telephone number and an email address for that contact person. Then we're looking for the name of the secondary contact person. This secondary contact person will only be contacted in the event of the primary contact not being available. So if there was something urgent that come up or a question that needed to be asked of your group at some point, I might be looking for the primary contact. He might be on his holidays. The secondary contact will only be contacted in the event of the primary person not being available. So here we're asking for the name on your group's bank or post office account exactly as appears in the bank statement, and that is very important. Now, this is just for the purposes of when the time comes of making electronic funds transfer to your group's account. So it's important at this stage that we have the exact name as it appears on your bank statement for your group. And then here it will ask for your group's bank account IBAN. Again, be careful that you have all the digits correct. Then it will ask you for a copy of your group's current public liability insurance. So your insurance certificate for public liability can be uploaded there. Then it will ask you to upload a copy of a letter of indemnity from your current insurance provider. So in this particular instance, you will need to ask your insurer for a specific letter, and the guidance of the wording is written there. So you're asking your insurance provider to indemnify and keep indemnified the Department of Environment, Climate and Communications and Wexford County Council in respect of any loss or damage for which the community group is legally liable. So they shouldn't have much of an issue getting that letter. That's the wording that we'll be looking for. But any queries, come back to me on that one. Then it asks, does your group have a tax clearance certificate or a tax clearance access number? And you have an option for either the certificate, which is the paper copy you may have already, or a tax clearance access number. If you just look at your typical tax clearance certificate, there's an example. You can scan that, upload it, that's fine. Or you may have a tax reference number just in the upper left corner there, tax reference number and a tax clearance access number. You can enter those numbers instead of scanning, whichever suits you best. So in this place, let's say we have a tax clearance access number. It'll ask us for the tax reference number. I'm putting your digits there. And then it'll ask you for the tax clearance access number. Now it's asking, is it your intention to split the works into phases? So are you going to do this project all in one go, in that you're going to do all the works that you've been approved for, complete them, pay the contractor, and then submit the claim for the council to recoup? Or are you going to split it into phases across at least 2 quarters? So example, the first phase, install your solar panels, you'll pay the contractor, then you'll submit your claim for that first phase, get paid for what you've paid out to your solar panel, and then that will allow you then to move on to phase 2, you have received the grant for phase 1, so you can install your example here, vegetable garden, and then claim the grant for that phase. These phases are going to be done on a quarterly basis. So if you do phase 1 on your solar panels, submit the claim and get paid, that's done every 3 months. Each phase is done over every 3 months. So there will be a little bit of time to wait for your claim to be assessed and to be paid before you can move on to the next one. So in this case, I'm saying we're going to complete the works over more than one phase. So that's asking to outline the source of funding which will facilitate your payments to the contractors for phase 1. So how are you going to pay the contractor from this phase? So we're saying here there's sufficient funds in group bank account. And then it's asking outline the proposed phases, describe the works in each phase. So we're saying here, phase 1, we're going to install or upgrade all the lights. We're going to submit our claim for those lights once completed, get the payment from the grant payment, and then move to phase 2, which is install solar, and phase 3 is planting and water filling stations. So before proceeding beyond this point, you need to consult with the contractors you include on your original application to ensure the original quote remains unchanged and the contractor is still in a position to deliver. It's been quite a while since you would have originally filled out the application, so either the contractor might be too busy now to deliver, might be gone out of business, or might have increased the prices considerably. So what we're asking you here is, are your proposed contractors quotations exactly as per your original grant application? So if there's any change, either in change of if a contractor is not able to deliver, or you're proposing a different contractor, or if you've gone to your contractor now and he says, no, the price has gone up by €1,000, you need to select no, it is not exactly the same as your original application. If everything is exactly the same, if your contractors, it's important here to contact all your contractors you got the price from that you're proposing to use. So if you're proposing to hire a contractor, you need to go to him now at this point and say, the price you gave me a few months ago, is that good to go? We have the funds here. We've been approved funds. Can we go ahead with that exactly as quoted to the same specification as was quoted? So if the answer to all those elements of your project is everything is the same, fine, you can select yes. But in this case, we're going to say, by way of an example, it's not exactly the same. So what's going to ask you here now is, again, before completing this section, talk to me on this. Not everybody will have to go in here if everything is the same as per originally quoted, but talk to me on this. So we're going to, for all elements of the work, regardless of whether the price has changed or not, we're going to list the contract descriptions, works, and the cost. So we were getting solar panels from Solar Sean for 13,000 at the time. He now says he can't do it for any less than 14,000, so it's gone up by 1,000. The lighting was 5 still, and the contractor says he can still do it for 5. The plumbing was 3,000, he can still, but he's looking for 3,500 now. So the original quotations that we will receive was 21,000. Now they're 22,500. The grant won't fund that additional 1,500, but we still, that will have to be funded by the group, or you may decide to go back out to seek prices again for the same specification, same number of solar panels as originally quoted, but go back to the market again and see, can you get a better price than the 14,000 for that same specification of works. So you can fill out, the important thing is, regardless of whether it was the project component is still the same or not, fill out the original price and the revised price. For example, here it's the same. Then we're asked to upload copies of all contractors that will be hired for your project. So copies of quotations for all works, including a detailed specification. So go back to the scenario of where if you had 3 elements of work and the contractors have all confirmed to get the same price as before, we still want you to upload those quotations again, just to be sure and to refresh. It's more as much for the group's benefit as it is for the accounting procedures here, that you again familiarize yourself how much this is going to cost and what are we getting for the money. So you need to upload all the quotations from the contractors that will be hired, not from contractors that weren't successful. You may have got 3 quotations of solar panels. You're obviously only going to go one contractor. You want the quotation from that one contractor. Don't need quotations that you've obtained before. And then next, we're looking for the members of your project delivery subcommittee. So we would urge every group not to leave this in the hands of one chairperson or committee member. Spread the load. You need to get a project delivery subcommittee here to make sure it works and make sure everybody is clear as what their duties are. So you fill out the names of people here and what their actual roles would be. Then we have a project delivery and milestones template. So you're going to set out here solar panels, The group member responsible, this is not the contractor now, this is the group member. So T Blogs in my community group as a bit of a head on him for solar panels. So he said, as volunteered, he's going to drive that element. He's going to contact the solar contractor, deal with him, schedule him, open the place up, whatever needs done. He's going to be the guy that's running that. And for a start date, we are putting in an indicative date of 16th September. Doesn't have to be set in stone. It's just to give us an indication of the time scale that you're looking at. And we expect them to finish by in October. Lighting is going to be done in January next year, and the committee member who's going to organise that and liaise with the electrician will be listed here. So as well, with your notification of being successful, you would have had an attachment with that notification, which is a contract between Wexford County Council and the community group. You need to carefully read through that contract, and when you're happy with it, sign it, scan it, and then upload it here. So it's a copy of that signed contract to be uploaded. And that brings it to the end. So once you have happy with your answers to the question, you can submit it there, and it'll be sent back to your email for approval. So it's important again that you go to your email and approve that digital signature. And that completes that.